We've been taught that the opposite of faith is fear, but in business, that's not necessarily true. The most dangerous state of a Christian entrepreneur isn't being afraid. I'm almost ready. I'm almost consistent. I'm almost obedient. Today, I'm going to show you why being in the almost state is actually a form of self-sabotage and how to finally cross the line to your full authority. See, almost feels like safety. It's actually a prison. You almost launched your last program. You almost launched the business that stole the idea that you almost started. You almost hired that person. You have the vision, but you lack integrated power. We are waiting for a feeling of readiness that God never promised. See, the thing about almost and why a lot of high achieving women use it is because almost is not the same as I'm not doing it. It makes it look like you are working on things, like you are making movement. But for a lot of people, it's actually you being stagnant and refusing to call it what it is. Because almost doesn't look wrong is really dangerous because nobody can call you out for being disobedient. You are so busy that you could almost look productive. You are spiritual enough that you could look fruitful, but nothing is actually forming. And you can stay in almost for years. As Christians, when we say no to God, we know it's rebellion. But when we say almost, we trick ourselves into thinking we're still being obedient. See, almost is not a stage, it's a holding pattern. Let's look at one of my favorite stories in the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood. That's in Mark chapter 5. She lost a lot, money, time, relationships. And she heard that Jesus was coming to town. And she decided, I'm not going to stay in this almost state anymore. So she went to a crowd of people. And in that crowd, you had the almost people that almost touched him, people that almost got healed, people whose life almost got changed. But she said, I'm not going to be one of those people. If I can just touch, not almost touch, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I will be changed. I will be healed. She's such a great reminder of what happens when you are not happy enough with taking a selfie, when you are no longer happy enough with just praying, and you say, I'm making a decision to get out of this holding pattern. I'm making a decision that even if everybody around me is dealing with whatever situation they're dealing with, even if everybody around me is almost ready, is almost healed, is almost changed, I'm going to make a radical decision to go all the way, to ask for the full meal, to have my life completely be transformed. That's what the woman with the issue of blood did. She refused to be in this almost pattern and change her world. The Bible goes on to say that when she touched him, that there were thousands of people around him, but when she touched him, power left him. And he said, who touched me? And she said, I did. And she was healed because she decided that she was no longer be almost healed, almost believing what the doctors say. She said, no, I'm going to go to the source and I'm going to make a demand on the anointing. See, let me tell you this. What I realized for my life the first 30 years is that I lived an almost successful life. I had a good job. I almost wrote a book. I almost was successful with my business. I almost wrote a book. I almost launched a business. I almost so many things. And I was living this life on a holding pattern, waiting for the right circumstance, waiting to believe, waiting for my faith to be strong enough. And one day, one of my mentors told me, she said, you've been hiding in plain sight. That one declaration, that one understanding broke almost off of me because I said to myself, what would my life look like if I tried? What would my life look like if I didn't just try? I gave it 100%. I realized at that time that I had never seen myself functioning at 100%. I had always been almost great, but never great. So I made a decision to go for all of my dreams, to go for everything God had assigned me to do. It's been almost a decade now, and I've been able to do things that I never thought I would do. I'm here to remind you that living in this almost pattern is not going to give you the type of result that you deserve. You deserve a life that rises up to meet you. You deserve to live a life where you know that you are living in the fullness of what God has for you. It's time to let go of almost. It's time to let go of the stories of the past. I almost made it to the NFL. I was almost a cheerleader for a big company. I was almost. And to look at the things that are ahead of you. Your future is greater than your past. But you gotta make a decision. We gotta make a decision that we will no longer be held bound by these things that never actually came to fruition, and that we have the power to step into an integrated life, to step into a life where we don't just almost get to the promised land, but we go and take possession of the things that God has set aside for us. So if you're watching this and you recognize yourself, if you've been living in that almost state and calling it wisdom, ask yourself, have I received a word from God about this issue already? And I'm the one still waiting? Because if you receive the word to move, to do the thing, to start the business, and you are waiting, that's disobedience. In this season, God is not rewarding people that are almost getting ready to get ready. He's honoring those who receive the word, obey the instruction, surrender control, allow something real to form. Remember that you are called, you are loved, and you are equipped. Not to live just in this almost state, but to step into a bold yes. It's time to leave the land of almost. If you're ready to build with God as your chief strategist, make sure to subscribe to this channel and get on the waiting list below. We are moving from almost to occupied space. And I'll see you in the next video.